Hello my friends and welcome back to my channel. I'm Elisabetta, your Italian watercolor friend. We are here today to discover this pigment PBr25 Benzimidazolone brown. Is much easier to paint than to mention, but it's a beautiful brown that I just discovered thanks to Rosa Gallery. Here is my Rosa Gallery tube, and I have a comparison with Maimeri Blue, Daniel Smith Renaissance, and pre-mixed burnt sienna by SAA. So let's dive in. PBr25 is a bit unknown pigment. I started painting with some ready-made standard sets with pans, and then I found that I'm very attracted to the most unusual pigments and that I like to enrich my collection with tubes that I buy open stock with underrated pigments, and PBr25 I think is one of those. It should be a transparent brown that you can texture with salt. I have read on Daniel Smith's website. But we start with Maimeri, and Maimeri calls it sangue di drago, dragon's blood. I just swatched a dragon's blood. The original dragon's blood should be a natural pigment, I think NR31, and comes from a resin, but this is a brown from a pigment, PBr25. And here we have our Maimeri Blue. As I was saying, it should be a medium staining transparent brown. It's a bit reddish. It could be a nice alternative to Indian red, a very transparent alternative because it has a reddish undertone. It leans toward reddish, and I was really impressed the first time I swatched this color by Rosa Gallery, but I would say that Maimeri is also very nice. What I like about this type of pigments is that you have an incredible range of values from mass tone. Look at how dark you can get, I like that, to the diluted washes. I really like that. It seems to be slightly granulating, but we must wait until it dries. Maybe it's just the paper. I don't think this should granulate, but it's very, look at this. It's very transparent. And that was Maimeri. Now, Rosa Gallery. My Rosa Gallery, wow. You know that I have a soft spot for Rosa Gallery because it's from Ukraine. By the way, I have read that Biden is in Ukraine today. Wow. Let's hope that they come out with a solution, because really it's unbearable, this situation for Ukrainian people, but for the whole world. Here in Europe, we're very scared by the situation, but also we're very close to Ukraine because they share our European values, democratic values. Sorry if I talk politics, but it's more a moral issue than a political issue, I think. Show support for Ukraine. Okay, Rosa Gallery not only is an Ukrainian brand, but also an outstanding brand. Frankly, I don't see a lot of difference between these two. Let's wait until they dry, but they look very much the same to me. Now, Daniel Smith. Let's say that if I had no budget limit, I would buy the whole range of Daniel Smith and spend my days just swatching them one by one. I think that The range of Daniel Smith is so incredible. They have such exciting colors. It's not just the quality, it's also the incredible choice that you have. But this permanent brown, let's see if it's different or it is very consistent with the previous two. I think it's going to be very consistent. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with all these permanent browns, all these PBr25. Yes, I'm going to use them because, you know, I paint a lot. I paint absolutely every day. I find at least 30 minutes to paint. Yeah, I love this peachy undertone, and it is absolutely identical for me. Yes, this PBr25 has won the gold medal for consistency across brands. We need to wait until they dry, but so far, very much the same, which is comforting. So buy whatever you find, whatever is cheaper, and you get the same quality. By the way, it should be very lightfast. It's not rated by ASTM, but according to Daniel Smith, which I think is very reliable, it's medium staining and excellent light fastness. So paint without fear. This is Renaissance. It's completely different. This is Polish brown. So it's PBr25. I think they might have also a different color that uses the same pigment, but this is totally different. You know, children love to contradict mothers. My son, when he was little, every time I said something in public, he loved to say, "It's not true. You once said that." So this Polish brown by Renaissance is like a little child that loves to contradict me. No, it's not true, Mom. I'm completely different from the other ones. Flown pepper is maybe less, it's less easy than the previous brands. It's a beautiful brown, but it's an alternative to burnt sienna, I would say, and not a sort of Indian red as the one before. I think I prefer definitely the more reddish version. And then I have this interesting mix, which is burnt sienna by SAA, and it is PBr25 plus Hansa Yellow Light PY3. It's here the palette by SAA that my follower Anita gave it to me before Christmas. Yes, it's of course it's mixed with yellow, but I think we're more in this area than here. You know, it's more difficult to re-wet because it's a pan, but it's very, very beautiful. It's a very light burnt sienna. It's very different from the burnt sienna I usually use, either made with PR101 or PBr7. It's an unusual recipe, but it's very nice. It's almost a gold ochre, actually. And it's a beautiful color. Thank you, Anita. Now that they're starting to dry, I see a difference actually between Daniel Smith and the other two. But we let these dry. In the meantime, we try some mixes with this color, okay? For my mixes, I think I will use Daniel Smith. as it is probably the biggest tube, because this is the biggest one, 15 milliliters. This is 12. Rosa Gallery is 10. And this is also 15, I guess, but it's different. So I think I will use Daniel Smith because it's the biggest, and so it doesn't use it up for my mixes. So I'll put some here, as it was a mixing space, and then I will use it to mix it on paper with some other colors. Let's see, I will use my Paul Rubens as usual. You see, I'm finishing it. I hope to finish it as soon as possible so I can give space to one more palette on my desk. Okay, I'll start with some cadmium yellow. Beautiful color. Then I'll mix it with some Pyrrole Orange, PO73. It's a very vibrant orange that I never ever use straight from the tube, but maybe mixed with this reddish color should give an interesting result. And then I will mix it with this alizarin crimson hue, madder red, and it gives a very beautiful maroon. Look at this. This is a very intense maroon. It could be shadow for red. Beautiful maroon. Then I mix it with magenta. I think this is PV19 actually. Quinacridone violet. It's a dark rosy color. Wow, it's beautiful. I will add some violet here and some maroon here, this color. Beautiful dark rose. Look at that, it's like a dark peach, reminds me of summer. Then we go to dioxazine violet. Wow, I don't understand what happens. A purple, a reddish purple, like a very dark brick color. Nice. We go to ultramarine blue now. It's a brown here, but turns into a nice purple. Should be granulating, and maybe also you get a nice color separation. Cerulean. Cerulean is one of my favorite colors. It granulates, it's vibrant, it mixes well, it's a cobalt color. Look at this, this is PB36 actually. Let's see what happens, I have no idea. goes from blue to brown through a whole range of shades and creates a beautiful grey with a lovely color separation. Now Viridian, why not? It's not Viridian actually, it's phthalo green. A dark forest green, muted, beautiful. Oh, it's beautiful. It's a dark forest green. How beautiful it is. Really beautiful. I just swatch it pure here. And I think I'm trying a sketch with this color and guess the subject. I'm trying to my favorite subject, one of my dogs. To really understand the behavior of a pigment, I think the best thing is not just swatching it or mixing it, but testing on a real sketch. Of course, I'm sketching my favorite subject, my golden retriever, one of my 2 golden retrievers. Actually, they always are my painting companions in the studio. Ciao Totò. Ciao Nana. Ciao amore. I will use this permanent brown by Daniel Smith and some other colors to paint my golden retriever. I already sketched freehand because I like to sketch freehand the head, and I will apply some ink. If you're curious to see the ink, it's this one. It's this beautiful Dea Tramentis permanent ink in brown. I love it, and it's waterproof. Just make sure to rinse well when you recharge it your fountain pen. So I know how to paint golden retriever by heart. I don't even need a reference image. And she has some nice curls here. Okay. And here we put some flowers. And here she has a nice, compact, furry, soft body. Okay, fantastic. They're now completely dry. And first thing is that they're not so consistent across brands as I thought while they're wet. Let's say that Maimeri Blue and Rosa Gallery are very, very similar, not identical, but similar. Rosa Gallery has a very soft flocculation, although I don't think this is a granulating color. I don't know. Daniel Smith has an incredible dark brown in mass tone that dilutes down to a pinkish brown in diluted, once diluted, and it's absolutely beautiful. I think this is the brown. I was really impressed when I swatched this the first time. That's why I wanted to make a comparison. This Polish Brown by Renaissance has nothing to do. It's almost, now that it's dry, I thought it was a burnt amber, but it's not. It's almost a sepia. It's like a warm sepia. It can easily take the place of a warm sepia, but nothing to do with this wonderful, wonderful reddish brown that I have on the left hand side. And then this burnt sienna is also very nice, but it's a mix, so it's not, just to see what the market offers with this pigment. But let's say that with these three, you make an incredible purchase. You can buy whatever you find at your local store, online, at the best possible price. They're all very beautiful. Daniel Smith maybe has the gold medal, but they're all very beautiful. The mixes. There is a cat screaming out in my garden. It's not one of my cats. I think it must be love seasons for cat. It has been screaming for the last 3 or 4 days. Poor kitty. Okay, the mixes are very interesting. Being a very, very transparent color, it's perfect for mixing without getting a muddy result. This is with cadmium yellow, orange, alizarin crimson, magenta, purple, ultramarine blue, this cerulean. Cerulean, it's bizarre. It goes from pink to cerulean. It's very interesting, this one. Phthalo green, you get a muted forest green, and this pink is diluted wash of the same. Let's see what it gives once, if it is good for glazing, once last to try. Let's see if there is a difference, if I can glaze, if we see a difference. Being very transparent, I think it should glaze very, 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 very well. Yes, as I thought, it's perfect for glazing, you see. It glazes so well. My favorite mixes are with the cadmium yellow here. Look at this, it's almost a quinacridone gold. And with the violet, it gives this wonderful pink. With alizarin crimson also, the maroon is very interesting. So these three, alizarin crimson, magenta, and cadmium yellow, are wonderful mixes. But you have to play and find what you like. Have you tried this pigment yourself? Of course, let me know in the comment. Every experience that you have with this brown or any other brown that you like particularly. Brown is one of my favorite colors. I really like earthy colors and yellows and siennas. So this is really my cup of tea. And as per my sketch, I think that, you know that I am never happy. So I always see something to improve, but it's okay. As per my sketch, I'm quite happy. I had a lot of fun. The permanent brown glazes very well and is a perfect mix because it's very transparent, and so you don't get a muddy result. I have used cadmium yellow here to mix it. That is an opaque color, but the translucency of this permanent brown counterbalance this opacity. I have sketched her here dressed up for Carnival as a spring fairy, because it's Carnival here in Europe and we celebrate a lot. It's a very huge thing in Italy. I know that in the Netherlands, where my son lives, it's incredible, the celebration of Carnival, not just children like here, but adults as well. So I painted this little spring fairy costume for my puppy girl, Nana. You know, I have 2 dogs, Toto and Nana. I like to sketch them and they're always with me while I paint. I think that this permanent brown will find a place in my studio palette that I have to swatch for you one of these days. And thanks a lot for having watched this video with me. I hope you enjoyed it. If you do so, it would be amazing if you could give me a thumb up or subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so far. And for the moment being, that's all. And ciao, ciao. And see you in my next video. Ciao.